So this little one here we've got on a 52 horsepower Branson. At the moment, this is the biggest tractor Branson builds, 52 horsepower cab. This is a hydro unit. You can get it in a shuttle as well. This is one of the deals that I've been lacking for a long time, and this is one of the reasons why we took on Mahindra. This was the biggest tractor we had up until that one that just left. So I had a heck of a hole in between there of I never had a decent or a bigger series frame tractor that would have that 50, 55, 60 horsepower. This was as big as we had, and this is where I brought Mahindra in to kind of fill this hole. This tractor has been a very good tractor for us in the right situations. This tractor does not do good with 1-ton bales. Even big, heavy round bales, it doesn't do real good. It does good with 3x3s. It's more of a utility tractor than it is a true farm tractor when it gets out, but it is one that Branson offers and does a very good job for us. This is a turboed unit, 2 sets of auxiliaries, 540 PTO. Very nice little unit, but like I said, it's sized for what it is. It's not a real large frame class tractor, but it's a nice little unit. We've got this hooked on to H&S's rake. So H&S is going to be our American-made rakes. These also come from Beaver Valley. This is not the cheapest rake H&S builds. That'll be the second class up. It is what they're going to call an action rake, and you kind of seen that when he let that down, those rear wheels were cambered back a little bit, and whenever he let it down, they stand up straight to give you a little bit more ground clearance on the bottom for what I was talking about before, for less apt to ball up right underneath these beams. It gives it more height up off of the ground. It also, whenever it's folded up, if you guys have seen some of the older H&S rakes, when they fold up, they're sitting really tall and they won't go into a barn. That whole Action series was made to bring that front end down, raise the rear end up, and kind of give it more of a transport height to it as opposed to what they used to have on it. This rake is a mechanical adjusted rake for ground pressure, windrow width, raking width. That's all going to be manually adjusted, but H&S uses the jack to do it where a lot of the other guys don't. This is built to sit right in here. It goes over the top of that, and you put this little shoe back in there, and then you use the jack to actually push the rake bars out or to suck the rake bars back in. On our Interossi rake, you'll see that can kind of be a challenge if you go to pull those out of there and you're by yourself. I'm a pretty big boy, and it has all I want to do sometimes to pull that. And it can be a little bit challenging, where this one here, it makes it considerably easier to do that with. This rake is not an independent rake. This uses... there's several different words for it, but we kind of call them candy cane rakes. This one ties 2 wheels together on each set, so whenever one wheel moves, it inevitably forces the other one to move the opposite direction. You can, in really uneven ground, which we don't have a lot of that around here, but in really uneven ground, you could get a rake like that to drop a little bit of hay just on the fact of ground contour. You could get a little bit to flop out underneath it. But for the most part, for a lot of guys around here, this rake does a tremendous job for it, and it's got a very good price point on it. This rake will also run one side or the other. You can run it as a turning rake off the right side. You can run it as a turning rake off the left side. You can run it with both sides down. Ground pressure is set on this rake with these big springs up here underneath these main beams. I've got it set pretty close now, but you adjust this little bolt, and that allows the ground pressure on your teeth to change however much you want on there. A lot of the issues that we see with wheel rakes, when a guy is telling us that he doesn't like a wheel rake doesn't do what he wants to do, a lot of it is adjustment. And one of the biggest things that you see is these front wheels will be just jammed into the ground like nobody's business, and they'll be picking up dirt. And the rear ones might be completely off the ground, or they're breaking a lot of teeth. These shouldn't be breaking a lot of teeth. If they are, more than likely they are adjusted wrong in one way or the other. They should be just barely, the hay itself should be what's turning it, not so much the actual ground. But like I said, if we have any issues where a guy's coming in and you're just going through rake teeth like crazy, it's more than likely an adjustment issue on it. The rakes will do their job. With this rake, once you get it set to a tractor, you're usually pretty good. But that first initial setup, and matter of fact, with any one of the wheel rakes, that first initial setup is a little bit... it's going to take you some time to do it. One of the biggest things you got to do is you've got to get the rake wheels to set even, where the back ones are down on the ground even and the front ones are down even on the ground, kind of like what I was just talking about. If this front one is digging like crazy, our drawbar height is going to be too low on the front, and you'd have to raise that hitch up to lift that front wheel up and try to lower that back wheel down. That would all be done up here on the front. That's the first adjustment that you do on any one of these wheel rakes, is pull that up to get that where you want it to go. Then on this one, particular one, you're going to try to set your outside widths first. I usually just measure off the beam and measure one direction and double it. But to get that measurement, that's where you would use that jack. Like I told you, you'd split this main beam out, pin it wherever you need it to go. Then you use these beams here to adjust your windrow width of however wide you want in the back. If you've got a mega wide baler, you can run a wider pickup. If you've got a wider windrow, if you've got a narrower pickup, you're going to have to narrow that down. You can adjust that however you want it to go, with multiple holes here and also a thread stock to give you the windrow width that you need for your baler. Once you get all that adjusted and you're going to be using the same tractor, the same swather combination, there's very little adjustment to this year after year after year. Very little things that you got to do to it. It'll go out and it'll rake hay for you every time. You can get wind panels for these, whether it is the Maximus or this one or the Interossi. If you're having grass tangle up in here, they make a nice little panel that goes in here that covers all that up. On this particular rake, Mitch, we can't get tandems for this, can we? Not yet. Is that something they are trying to get for us? So that is one issue. This is still going to be a single-wheeled rake instead of a tandem rake. But like I said, this is a very nice rake, does a really good job for us. Let's go ahead and pull it out of here. Oh, yeah. So this rake here, guys, this has one of the things he was just saying, these rake wheels that are on this, where I was telling where that beam is higher, these have 60-inch wheels on them, where a lot of the wheel rakes that are out on the market have 55-inch wheels. Doesn't sound like a lot, but that little bit of width, or that little bit of distance, gives you a lot more clearance under that beam, less slack for them to try to ball up underneath them.